My name is Emma, and I never expected everything to change that day. A few months ago, I was just trying to survive. I had no big dreams, no backup plan, just bills, cheap food, and stress that never left. Most days, I felt like I was drowning in work, in doubt, in fear. It was just normal morning. I was walking through the city lost in my thought when I suddenly bumped into a man. He wasn't like anyone I'd met before. Stylish, confident, but calm. Before I knew it, I was holding his business card and on it, a job offered. A personal assistant. No one had ever offered me something like that. I wasn't sure, but I decided to give it a try. The next morning, I walked into a high-glass office. An employee greeted me and led me through the halls. Everything felt unfamiliar, too modern, too professional. I was taken to a room. He was already there and handed me my first task, organizing some documents. I was nervous, but nodded. I spilled coffee. I got lost in hallways. I mixed up documents and nearly emailed a draft contract to the wrong client. But he never yelled, never rolled his eyes. He'd just smile and say, "Try again." And slowly, I did. At first, the tasks were simple: bring coffee, print reports, sort files. I nearly dropped the tray once, but he just laughed. I felt embarrassed, but he was kind. I did my best not to mess things up. He started trusting me with more, managing his schedule, checking details. I felt useful. Sometimes he even left thank you notes on my desk. For the first time in a long time, I was smiling at work. We started spending more time together, working at the same table, sharing ideas. Sometimes we'd even laugh at the little mistakes. Day by day, I could feel the trust growing. He wasn't like a typical boss. He really listened. We even presented something together once. I was nervous, but it went great. He praised me afterward. I remember one evening, we were walking through the office. He looked at me with a soft smile, like he knew I'd changed. At home that night, I realized I was starting to enjoy going to work. I began waking up with motivation. Every morning, I opened my laptop with confidence. Coworkers greet me first. He gave me an important project and I took charge of everything. But one day, I made a serious mistake. I accidentally sent the wrong file. When I saw the client's reply, my face went pale. I ran to the meeting room and cried. I was sure I had ruined everything. He came in and sat beside me. I whispered that I was quitting, but he placed a hand on my shoulder and said he still trusted me, that I didn't have to be perfect, and that's when I really cried. Later that evening, we were walking out of the office together, in silence, no words, but I felt it. He wasn't just a boss, he was someone who didn't want me to give up. The next morning, I came back with a whole new mindset. Colleagues look at me differently. He nods me when he saw me, and I smiled back. I started helping others again. I gave another presentation, but this time with confidence. Afterward, he handed me a small box. Inside was a pen with my initials. He said, "You earned this." That evening, we sat quietly, drinking tea. I told him he changed my life. He replied, "No, you changed yourself." I thought about his words, and it was true. I used to fear making mistakes, but now I was learning from them. I was taking notes, managing meetings, talking to clients. I felt like part of the team. I was still his assistant, but not just someone who followed instructions. One evening, I stepped outside the office and took a deep breath. For the first time in forever, I felt proud of myself. The same night, we met at the exit again. He looked at me and smiled. We walked to the parking lot, chatting like friends. The sunset was behind us, and our silhouettes faded into the city lights. When I got home, I wrote in my notebook, "I'm still an assistant, but I'm not the same person anymore." There was a photo of our team in my desk. I smiled. Now, when I looked in mirror, I don't see the same last girl. I see someone who got up again and again. The next morning, I stepped out of my house, wearing a blazer, holding my bag. He was already waiting by the car. He opened the door for me. We drove through the city as the building whirled past the windows. And I thought, sometimes a random encounter isn't random at all. Sometimes it's a chance to become who you really are. And yes, I'm still his assistant, but he became something more to me, my mentor, my support, my inspiration.